Hey there YouTubers, this is Blackfern Australia again. Just want to have a quick short video on what I do to protect my gear. This is just an example. But what do you do when you buy something? You're going to throw it in the back of your bug out vehicle or your truck, and it's going to bounce around and things fall on it and eventually get damaged. And generally they come in a cardboard box. Some of these card boxes are reasonably strong and some are only light. What do I do to protect them is I've bought myself a very large roll of very thin plastic tape. It's like electrical insulation tape, only it's obviously a lot wider, very thin, stretches a little bit and protects fairly well. So what I do when I get an object like this and I want to keep it for a while and store it, all I do is I get lengths of this tape, chop it up and then start to stick it over top of the box. So I stick it on the box and I completely cover the box so the whole box is completely covered in the black tape. The black tape is nice and strong. I tried using gaffer tape, but gaffer tape was too thick. It was hard to use. So now I just use the black tape here, the thin one, and eventually I go right over top of the whole box, including the top flap, and eventually I'll cover the back later, but I eventually cover the whole box. Now this I found over the last 2 or 3 years that I've been doing this protects everything inside quite good. I've got a lot of items that have been in the back of my bug out vehicle for several years, bouncing up and down in toolboxes and things, and protected them very well. Just to end it off, what I do then is I get a Sharpie paint pen and I'll just mark on it what it actually is. That way I can see what's actually in the box. Now just to give you an example of the things I've been doing, this one's a hand wind radio that I've already done. I've had this for a couple of years, and you'll find that by doing that and putting it in a plastic bag and slipping it back in this box every time you use it, the equipment ends up staying pretty well like new. You know, I've got heavy items like tow hitches, snatch blocks for towing, cast iron pans for cooking. I've got my kettle. They all look black because of the tape. You can actually see what they are. Some of these, like these are very, very heavy items that have been bouncing in the back of my vehicle for a long time, and you can see that all protected very, very well. And you'll find that the equipment itself is like new inside, because once you use it and you clean it, you put it back in the boxes and put it back in the vehicle, and this protects it. I've even got one where I've made it a kindling box, and I just collect kindling and throw it in the back of my truck and let it sit in there. There's a rattle gun that I keep in the back of my vehicle for changing the wheels, undoing the wheel nuts and tough bolts and nuts and things. It's also just in a cardboard box which has been wrapped with this tape. I find this an excellent idea. It keeps all my gear in perfect condition. I put it back in after use. All it is just the cost of the cheap cost of the black tape, and you just cover the original cardboard box. I think you'll find that fairly interesting, and maybe you should give it a go with some of your gear, and I'd certainly welcome any comments you have on it.